Hello, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Daan and I've been dying to talk about Ping Pong the Animation, so let's go. So I recently watched and finished the show and I've gotta say, it's amazing. It's actually really good. In the beginning I was kind of iffy on it, like the animation and everything, but when you get into it and you actually start to see the characters move, it's amazing. The characters are very well rounded, they are extremely interesting and just the entire show is amazing. So seriously guys, go watch it and come back to this video after if you're done and then we'll talk about the food. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today because I thought it was really interesting seeing a show focus so much on table tennis instead of another sport which requires more physical endurance, let's say. And seeing how the show actually very often brings up the topic of nutrition, I thought it would be very interesting to look at it and see how it compares to real life and real life athletes. And table tennis is kind of interesting in that it doesn't really require that high of a muscle mass, but it is very important to be very athletic and have a high endurance, of course. So myself, and I think many of you, will be very interested in seeing what Olympic table tennis athletes actually eat. But anyway, let's just jump straight into it. So I'm going to start with something that is very expected. Athletes eat a healthy diet. The first time is all the way in the beginning in episode 2, when Butterfly Joe asks Mr. Tsukimoto to change his diet from a burger to this healthy meal right here. And the funny thing is, the meal that Butterfly Joe does give Tsukimoto is actually a perfect meal for athletes. The rice is an extremely good carbohydrate source, the vegetables are very healthy, and there is so much protein in here. I can see shrimps, meat and egg. The meat seems to be some sort of pork or steak, but anyway, it's very healthy and does contain a lot of protein. Eggs are such a stereotypical bodybuilder food, but for good reason. The egg whites contain a lot of healthy protein, which is very good for the muscle, and the egg yolks actually contain a lot of healthy fats, which are also very good for hormone production. Butterfly Joe names cholesterol and high sodium content as the main reasons why Tsukimoto shouldn't eat a hamburger. And those are both valid reasons, but cholesterol less so. Because as long as you eat your vegetables and eat a healthy diet altogether, the meat in hamburgers aren't really connected to a high cholesterol level. High cholesterol is mostly associated with obesity, being diabetic, just having a very bad lifestyle, but it isn't really the saturated fat in meat that raises your cholesterol. The second occasion is in episode 4, where it is said that Kazuma's team would have the best nutritionists in the entire country taking care of their diets. So what does this state-of-the-art diet look like? And how does it compare to real Olympic athletes? First up, we can see that it is actually a lot of food, and that's very important for athletes altogether. Athletes do need a lot of energy, mostly calories, in order to perform optimally. And again, we can see these calories coming from mostly healthy sources, like fruit. I am, however, kind of worried about the low fat content of the diet, because athletes do need a lot of fat in order to make the hormones that they actually need to perform, mostly men, because they need to produce testosterone. But it is true that Olympic athletes do focus on a high carbohydrate diet in order to perform optimally, which is something I really wanted to discuss further, because in a few episodes, mostly the last episode, but I won't spoil where it happens, we can always see Pecco eating a lot of junk food. Is there any merit to this? Maybe not to this extreme, but yes, there is actually merit to eating junk food as an athlete. Because you have probably heard of Michael Phelps' infamous 12,000 calorie diet. Because yes, during the 28 Olympics, Michael Phelps was on his infamous 12,000 calorie per day diet. And as you have probably seen in videos, Michael Phelps needed to eat a lot of junk food in order to fill those calories up. So pizzas, pancakes, everything, the whole bunch, in order to just get enough calories for the day. It is something of an Olympic lifestyle. But maybe not for table tennis players. I actually looked it up, and while they are slightly above the normal caloric intake, they are just hovering around 4,000 calories a day, so nothing really that special. And for the second reason why athletes might eat junk food, we look to Floyd Mayweather, one of the most famous boxers in history. Because Mayweather really likes intra-workout nutrition, which simply means that he really likes to eat during his workouts in order to keep his energy levels up. And he does this mostly by drinking Coca-Cola and eating candy. Yeah, no joke. The reason for this is that those simple sugars really help to keep his energy levels high. Without them, he would probably slump down and be very tired altogether, since his workouts are so extremely intensive. But coming back to the state-of-the-art diet that Kazuma's team proposed, I think it's actually a very representative dinner for someone that is in training. I do think that the milk is slightly overhyped since milk doesn't really contain that much protein and instead only contains a lot of carbohydrates mostly. So I would probably like switch it out for a protein shake or something that actually has the protein that they want. And the watermelon is kind of interesting because watermelon doesn't really contain anything. So if the carbohydrates don't really matter, I would probably switch those out for blueberries, which are very healthy and contain very many antioxidants. But we do need to keep in mind that these are still high school kids, and some people like Tsukimoto don't really care for table tennis to begin with, so yeah, what can you do? And in the rest of the show we can also see people just eating normally, which is fine. Like, they are still young, they should enjoy themselves, but if you want to get the best out of yourself, diet is probably something to start with. Speaking of junk food, one last thing, that pancake looks delicious and I really want it. Okay, final thoughts. I think the show actually did a very good job representing what the real Olympic athlete diet would look like. And I'm very impressed with how much they do actually know. And again, table tennis isn't as intense as some sports and it is more intense than other sports, so it kind of balances out. But I think they did a very good job. And that was it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't watched the show, please go and watch it. It is truly amazing and I would recommend it to literally almost anyone. Don't get put off by the animation style. I was too at first, but after that I really got into it and now I love it. It's one of the best shows I've ever watched. But that was it for me. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to this channel, leave a like, a comment, and I will see you guys later. Bye.